It's time for open heart surgery for little Chuggy. Let's get started. So today we're going to do a video on little Chuggy. In the previous video we've done just a little bit ago, you guys put a lot of comments out that you actually wanted a whole series on little Chuggy. You guys really love little Chuggy. We like little Chuggy too. In fact, we had a little gap in time between two vehicles that were getting fixed, and I decided to have the guys tear into little Chuggy and start the operation of open heart surgery to show you guys why it was only running on about 2.5 cylinders and how lack of maintenance can kill your engine. Poor little Chuggy, I think, hasn't been maintained in the last 25 to 30 years. And I believe at some point he was actually dead. And the person we bought it from got it revived enough to just get it sold. But we're going to take it to the next level, and little Chuggy is going to be I guess it won't be chugging anymore. What will we name it then? I don't know. I think we're still going to call it little Chuggy anyways. I'll show you around this little thing, and I'll tell you the story of buying this little forklift. So this is a late 70s, I think like a 1978 Hyster forklift. I'm not sure the exact model number, but it's one of their smaller units, and it has the short mast, which is what I wanted because we don't have such a tall building in here. It has adjustable forks and things that you can move them into the various different widths that you want. It doesn't have side shift. I think that's been disconnected. It may have had it at one time, but this thing is built like a tank. One thing is a major score, which can be very expensive, that I knew right away was worth at least half the money. This little Chuggy has basically brand new tires. Take a look here. They are some super sidewall. It's kind of a no-name brand, but it's got very deep tread. You can still see the little nipples on it. These are like new tires, guys. So these tires, being brand new, is going to save me a lot of money, a lot of heartache, and really of all the stress and things that we dealt with getting moved here. I'm so glad that we finally moved in. We're getting back to fixing cars. That move nearly killed me, but we got everything we needed moved down here. There was one thing that moved with me that I wish didn't, and that's the data brokers and online criminals. They don't care about my physical address. They are after my digital information. And that's why I'm so glad that I have Incogni. I've had them from over a year, and they have removed my information from over 1,000 sites. It would have taken me over 750 hours to do that. I wish our information wasn't in the hands of criminals, but that's not the world we live in anymore. Today, you really need to take steps to protect your most personal information, like your date of birth, address, social security number, and so much more. They work 24/7 protecting my personal information and keeping it out of the hands of thieves and data brokers. If you happen to find your information on the site before Incogni does, you can request a custom removal. I've used it twice, and both times they got my information taken down. Remember, they can't harm you if they can't find you. Use code CARWIZARD at incogni.com/carwizard and get 60% off an annual plan. That link's in the description below. Now back to little Chuggy. So the tires being new are going to save me quite a bit of money, but I'm also going to have to spend quite a lot to get this thing running on all 4 cylinders. I could tell right away though, it used to run on just normal gasoline. Here's the gas tank, and it actually smells like varnish in there. Somebody capped all the fuel system off for regular gasoline, and at some point it was converted to propane. You can see it has the little regulator there. There's the propane carburetor, air filter, and of course you have the propane tank up top, which we have disconnected for safety. This thing is very heavy, and a lot of the weight being back here on the ballast. I was concerned about pulling this engine apart if the ballast would need to be removed. Luckily, it did not. I'm so happy about that. And around to the back here, you can see it has a little place to put a tow rope, and the exhaust is kind of just in this finned area. It kind of shoots out the back. This thing was actually backfiring when I first got it. It was running so bad. It was like pow, pow coming out of here. We'll talk about that more here in a minute. But around on the other side, it's basically the same situation, except we don't have a gas tank. We have a hydraulic tank right here. You can unscrew this and fill it with hydraulic oil. And that's the reservoir, which is down inside of here. A forklift is pretty simple to operate. You have your levers here to operate the mast, tilting it back and forth, the forks up and down. And it would have had side shift, which moves the forks back and forth, but that's been since disabled. You have your steering wheel, your automatic transmission shifter, 2 brake pedals, one for each front wheel, gas pedal, e-brake, some gauges, lights. It's really pretty simple. And here we have our Mazda VA engine. No, I didn't say V8. It's VA, just like the Veterans Affairs, the VA. That's basically what model of engine this is, and they use these a lot in industrial applications. Tens or maybe even hundreds of thousands of these engines were made in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So you notice the engine bay is a little grimy, and there's a reason for that. It's lack of maintenance. But let's talk about, how did I come about this thing? So right after we had just first rented this building, and I actually just met Ronnie. You guys seen him on a previous video. He's now one of my mechanics hired here. He's very, very knowledgeable, very great guy. He's helped me so much. I knew if I was going to have these lifts installed and have my friend Ronnie do it, which he's very experienced with it, but he doesn't have a forklift. And I know running a mechanic shop, you don't need a forklift all the time. But when you do need one, you have to have one. And I was scanning around and said, okay, I need to break down and buy a forklift. And everything this size that was in perfect condition, running great, even older ones, was $6,000 to $8,000 in this area. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. I mean, I could probably afford it, but I wonder if I could find one that needs a little work. And there was one not too far from the Mexican border in a town called Chaparral. And I'm pretty sure Chuggy came from Mexico. I'm just pretty sure. Juarez, probably. And 3,500 bucks. It was basically as is. And it was running, backfiring, running really bad. But I noticed that it had new tires. The lift went up and down. The mast worked. It didn't leak or pour fluid all over the place. The steering was good. The brakes were good. I had Ronnie go check it out for me. It just ran rough and backfired. And I know from experience that industrial engines like this are super easy to work on. There's just I can almost do it blindfolded. I said, I bet I can fix whatever problem that is. For maybe 500 bucks, even if I spend $1,000, I'm still saving 1,500, maybe even $2,000 or $3,000. But I knew I couldn't tear it down yet. It did run. So let me show you this little video, what I found. I kind of figured out, why is it backfiring? Is it a spark plug? Is it a coil? Is it this? Is it that? Is it the points? Which again, the seller tried to fix and put new parts on, and they had no luck. Here's a little video here that shows you what I found. And in this video, you can see, as I crank it over, some of the rocker arms move. But there's a couple of them that don't even move. They do nothing. I knew right away some of these valves are opening, and some of them are doing nothing. That's causing the backfiring. It's also causing the dead cylinder. So on that one cylinder that was really bad, I just pulled the push rods out. We ran it on the 3 cylinders. I didn't want it causing any more damage or something rattling loose and breaking the block or something. And we ran it that way for a while. We got the job done. The lifts are installed. Everything's up and running. We don't need Chuggy anymore, at least for now. We had a little lull in between 2 cars. I decided to tear down little Chuggy. Now let's talk about what we found was wrong. I kind of had an idea when I saw the rocker arms weren't moving. I remember the old Chevy 305s from the early 80s, mid 80s. You guys remember those, some of you older people like me, that had cam lobes that would wipe out. That's basically what happened here, but not because of poor workmanship or poor materials. Failed scheduled maintenance is what hurt poor little Chuggy. Let's take a look in the engine bay again. So you can see we have a lot torn down. On these older engines, you have a side cover. You can get to all the lifters. It makes it really easy. We pulled the rocker shaft off, the push rods, pulled the lifters, everything out. And then we pulled the accessories up front and pulled the timing cover off. It has kind of a chain drive for this hydraulic pump, which it's not in time or anything, so we don't have to worry about timing. But the camshaft resides right in this cavity, and there's the camshaft hole right through there. I was worried removing the camshaft, which is about this long, that it was going to hit the ballast or not be able to come out, and I would have to tear even more apart than I wanted to. But we removed the radiator, and it gave plenty of room. And we were able to remove the cam gear, so the cam gear didn't hit this cross member, I guess if you want to call it. And the cam went right all the way to about right there. and it was able to come out. Thank you, little Chuggy, for cooperating. So now we have it all apart. All this time it's been running that way. It's got metal shavings in the engine. Luckily, the cam bearings are fine. Everything else, it works really well. We caught it just in time as the cam was starting to break down before anything else broke down. So we're going to flush out this engine, get all that debris out. It'll have fresh oil. But what caused this issue? And let's take a look what happened before we talk about what caused it. So let me show you the damage that was done, and then I'll show you why it happened. So here's our brand new camshaft. Luckily they still make these. But you can see here on the lobes, they're very sharp, pointy. And let me measure one real quick and show you about how tall this is. About 1.637, somewhere around in there. It doesn't have to be exact. Those need to be at that height, and it needs to be nice height lifters, brand new, to get the full lift to push that valve open. It doesn't take very much of removing the material from the lobes or from the lifters. You could lose maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch, and pretty soon the valve won't even open. Because of the mechanical lever effect that you're using with the rocker arms, 1/4 of 1/2 an inch turns into an inch or more. So it didn't take very much to just start shutting down cylinders. Let's take a look at the old camshaft. We can see right here that this lobe isn't as sharp and pointy, not as tall. It's completely rubbed down. This one's rubbed pretty hard too. This one has some serious wear. We caught it just on the brink of basically a nuclear meltdown inside of this engine. Let's measure this back lobe here. I know this one wasn't firing on the cylinder at all. It's hard to read, but about 1.625. Let's measure this one down here. Oh, wow. Almost 1.6. That's quite a lot of material missing from the cam load, but that's not all. Just as those were wearing down, they were also really tearing up the lifters. Let me show you what a new one looks like. You can see on the top of the surface, it's nice and flat, and the corners have a tiny little bevel to them, little chamfer. We take a look at this old one. It's concave. If you put a little tiny BB in there, it would roll to the center, and the edges are sharp. I think you could cut yourself and draw blood on the edge of that. So it's hard to see, but there's a very small difference. This lifter is just a little bit shorter than the brand new one, especially in the center where it's concave. It's even lower than this one. So you add up the wear that's on the lobe plus the wear that's on the lifter, and before you know it, it's no longer lifting the valve at all. It does have adjustable lash, but even if you adjusted it to maximum, it still wasn't lifting. Let's take a look at our push rods. And I'm so lucky that nothing was damaged with those. All the little ball tips are fine. Nothing's bent, nothing's worn down. We got really, really lucky with those.
So, Wizard, what caused all that damage?
This?
It's just oil.
Well, the lack of oil. I have an idea, a hypothesis that poor little Chuggy, over the decades, which it's as old as I am, Mrs. Wizard.
It's not looking as good as you, though, dear.
No, it's not. When oil change time came, no one did it. When the second oil change time came around, still no one did it. I don't think they even changed the oil hardly at all. And I imagine there were times where it just almost ran dry, and it was just running that way and getting metal to metal contact. And then somebody see an oil light come on, oh, I better add some oil, and add some in, and then it would go another 6 months, year, 2, 3, who knows how long, until it ran out of oil again. It received very poor maintenance. In fact, I'll show you the old oil. There's so much metal in this oil that you can see it. So here we can see like a milky color. That is just contamination that's in the oil. You can see it right here, a lot of it. Now watch this, guys. You can see lots of metal debris just running down the side. It's not large debris, it's really small, but there's a lot in there. This issue that arose with the camshaft, I believe, just happened within the last maybe 2 to 3 years. It hasn't been running this way for a long time. It finally just started having a meltdown, and someone just gave up. They just stopped. It's running terrible, it's backfiring. I'm done with this thing. I'm going to sell it. We're lucky for that reason, because all this metal in the oil didn't sit there and circulate for years and tear up the engine. We got our borescope camera that we used from Autel, thanks to Autel. We were able to get in there and look at all the bearings, look at everything. We're so thankful that it looks good, it looks clean. We caught it just in time. So I think the person we bought it from probably bought Little Chuggy non-running. He thought, I know what I'll do. I'll do a few things and get it running again, and I'll have a happy forklift and I'll be able to sell it. So he put a new starter on it, which you probably saw as we were looking around. You can look down there and see the starter. He put a new set of spark plugs, which you can see this one wasn't firing at all. That's why it's black, and the rest are decent. This one, these two were firing good. This one was barely firing. It's an old point style system. It has new points, new cap, new rotor, new condenser, all new stuff. So luckily I won't have to mess with that. But unfortunately, we know from experience from buying it that that didn't fix anything. I think the seller tried a few things. He was like, man, this thing isn't running right at all. Something internal is wrong, and I better stop before I dump too much money into it. I'm glad they bought new tires before they realized what's wrong, though, because now I have a forklift with new tires. So what's it going to take to make Little Chuggy run on all 4 cylinders again? We're going to get brand new camshaft, brand new lifters, clean the push rods, and then something I've done before on older engines is to get some diesel or something like that, light oil. While this all open, we opened the drain plug to the oil pan and drained all that old oil out. And we're going to leave it open. And we're just going to douse the entire inside with diesel fuel and just get all contamination, all metal flakes, just wash it all out and let it drain into a bucket so that it's clean in there before we go back together. So as I stated, the inside looks very clean. It just needs flushed out and get all whatever debris and old oil out. And the thing you need to watch out on old engines, lead. It's like a gray sludge on the inside. You don't want to get that absorbed into your skin. So we're going to wash all that out and then put the new components in, put it all back together with new gaskets and everything. Little Chuggy will now be a $7,000 forklift, but I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to keep it around because for the money I spent to buy it and get it running, you could maybe rent a forklift twice. But this one's paid off, or it will be once I get it fixed. I can have it for years to come. Now, if I was going to use this in a warehouse all day, every day, I would probably pull the motor and just go through it. But the fact is we will probably use it 4 or maybe 6 times a year. And then those times that will be required, we need a forklift to do this or that. But it's nice to have around. I'm not going to be using it every day. I will get it clean and operating properly. And I bet Little Chuggy will last at least another 10 years very easily. So you guys in the comments were very interested in Little Chuggy. Now you know the story of how I came about buying it, why it ran terrible, what we're going to do to fix it. And you'll be seeing Little Chuggy in the background. We kind of joked around the shop that maybe we should make Little Chuggy t-shirts. Should we, Mrs. Wizard?
I don't know. I mean, you don't want to be the forklift wizard, do you?
No, I really don't want to be a forklift wizard. All jokes aside, it'll be a great little forklift and it'll do all the work. And I won't have to buy tires probably ever. So if you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use or have used to work on Little Chuggy or any of the car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. The tools we use every day, tried and true in the shop, are listed for sale there. And if you purchase anything, we do get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because we're here in Las Cruces. Our schedule is full. We have so many more videos to make for you guys. Thanks for watching.